AI in finance. It's a huge topic, right? It feels like it's the biggest opportunity we've had in a long time. But here's the thing. It's also a massive threat. It's this double-edged sword that can either make your career or break it. So today, we're going to get into exactly that. How to use this incredible power without getting burned by the dangers hiding just beneath the surface.
Okay, look at this number. $200 million. Just let that sink in for a moment. What on earth could a major bank do to get hit with a fine that big?
And get this, the crazy part is, this wasn't for some huge dramatic data breach or rigging the market. Nope, it was because employees, and we're talking senior people here, were just using WhatsApp for work. That's it. Simple, everyday messages created a multi-million-dollar compliance nightmare just for not keeping records properly.
So that just raises a massive question, doesn't it? If a simple WhatsApp chat can cost a firm $200 million, what about your AI prompts? Think about the incredibly sensitive stuff we're all tempted to put into these tools every single day. Is this the next billion-dollar blind spot that nobody's talking about yet?
All right, so let's dig into that. This is our first section, AI's billion-dollar blind spot. Because honestly, before we can even talk about how to use these tools, we have to get our heads around just how high the stakes really are when you're working in a regulated world.
And next up, we're going to bust a really common and I mean really dangerous myth that's going around. Welcome to Section 2, the Enterprise AI Myth.
I'm sure you've heard this, or maybe even thought it yourself, right? Oh, my company pays for the fancy enterprise version of this AI, so I'm covered. I don't need to worry. Let me be super clear. That is not just wrong. It's a belief that could literally end your career. It's a false sense of security, and it's a huge liability. Okay, here's the best way to think about it. Imagine your company gives you a corporate car. That's your enterprise AI license. Now, the car itself has some great safety features, right? It might handle cross-border data stuff, keep you compliant with GDPR. That's what the company solved. But it doesn't solve for you being a bad driver. You are still behind the wheel. If you start putting reckless, sensitive prompts into that AI, well, that's like driving the company car recklessly. You are personally on the hook for things like MiFID II suitability, for SM and CR personal accountability, for the garbage you put in, all of it. The firm gave you the tool, but the responsibility, that's 100% on you. So, okay, if that expensive enterprise license isn't some kind of magic shield, then what are the real dangers we need to be watching out for? That brings us to Section 3, where we're going to pull back the curtain on finance's invisible AI threats. There are two of them, and you absolutely need to know what they are. All right, first up is something called inference risk. You can think of it as leaving behind a financial fingerprint. Here's how it works. You might think you're being safe by removing a client's name, but if you put in their portfolio size, plus their specific sector, plus their geography, that combination of details can be as unique as an actual fingerprint. A powerful AI can easily connect those dots, figure out exactly who or what you're talking about, and suddenly you've leaked confidential info. And regulators are watching for this. It still comes back to you. And the second threat? Oh, this one is sneaky. It's called AI hallucination. And honestly, the best analogy is to picture a super confident but totally clueless intern. This intern has read every book in the library, so they'll give you an answer to anything you ask, and they'll sound incredibly sure of themselves. The problem is, if they don't actually know the answer, they'll just make one up. They'll invent a fact or a source that sounds totally plausible. And here's the key thing to remember. The AI isn't lying to you. It doesn't have bad intentions. It's just programmed to give you the most likely sounding answer, even if it has to invent it from scratch to do it. And listen, this isn't just some theory. This is real life. A lawyer in New York got fined because he submitted a legal brief where 6 of the cited cases were completely made up by ChatGPT. Just poof, created out of thin air. Now, the fine itself was only $5 grand, but imagine the damage to his reputation. It's catastrophic. And his excuse in court? He said he was simply unaware that the AI could do that. That is an excuse you just can't afford to make in your own career. Okay, so that's pretty scary stuff, right? We've laid out the risks pretty clearly. So what do we do about it? How do we actually protect ourselves? Well, the answer is in our next section, and it's a technique that might feel a little counterintuitive at first. It's called the power of abstraction. Now, this is going to go against every instinct you have as a finance professional. We're trained to be specific, to be precise with details. But here's the wild truth. When it comes to AI, that kind of precision is a liability. The best, safest, and, believe it or not, most powerful prompts are the ones that are deliberately abstract. Now, this doesn't mean you're dumbing down your questions. Not at all. It's about elevating them.
You're moving from solving one tiny, specific, risky problem to creating a valuable, reusable framework.
Let me show you exactly what I mean. Look at this. On the left, that's the dangerous prompt. It's packed with those financial fingerprints we talked about. The exact pension scheme size, the deficit, the number of members, their average age. It's a compliance landmine. Now, look at the right. This is the ultra-safe, abstract version. We've stripped out all the specific data. Instead of asking about one client's problem, we're asking the AI to create a comprehensive MiFID II compliant advisory framework for this type of problem. See the difference? You've completely eliminated the risk, and you've just prompted the AI to build you an incredibly valuable professional tool that you can use over and over again.
So how do you actually do this? It boils down to 3 simple techniques. First, pattern extraction. Just turn your specific problem into a general pattern. Second, role-playing. Tell the AI to act like an expert, act as a senior risk consultant. And third, methodology generation. Ask for a process or a system, not just a one-off answer.
All right, let's land the plane. We're going to bring all of this together into a simple, practical toolkit you can literally use every single day. This is our final section, your daily defense protocol. I want you to burn this into your brain. Before you hit send on any AI prompt, take 3 seconds and run this quick mental test. Step 1 is the competitor test. If my biggest competitor saw this prompt, would I be giving away secrets? Step 2, the regulator test. Could I show this to a regulator during an audit and be totally fine? And step 3, the reusability test. Am I asking for a one-off answer, or am I creating a reusable methodology? If you get a no on any of those, you stop. You go back and make your prompt more abstract.
Okay, that handles the input risk. But what about that other big threat, the confident intern making stuff up? The hallucinations? For that, your defense is a simple acronym, the VERIFY protocol. Think of this as your non-negotiable, mandatory checklist you have to run on any output from an AI before you even think about using it professionally.
This protocol is your safety net. Simple as that. Let's run through it quick. V. Validated sources. E. Examine any absolute statements. Is it being too black and white? R. Reference key facts externally with sources you trust. I. Interrogate the logic. Does this actually make sense? F. Do a freshness check. Is this data from last week or last decade? And finally, Y. Yield to the experts. You, your colleagues. The core message here is simple. AI output is a draft. It's a starting point. It is never the final word.
And that's really what this all comes down to. Every single time you open up that chat window, you're making a choice. You're at a crossroads, and you have to ask yourself this one simple question. Is the prompt I'm about to type building my career, or is it breaking it? The answer and the power is 100% in your hand.